Oh, that felt good, didn't it?
Okay, so I will say I think the writing was very good.
Yes, the writing was
sometimes the gameplay was really, really, really clunky.
I mean, especially the word game bits.
Yeah, the text-based game.
They just didn't work. It wasn't robust enough.
Yeah, it should be one of those where if they were going to do it that way, that it has like a tab autocomplete to some extent,
or at
with
least
what is available to select.
Or at least you should have a very good vocabulary for words that the
or like how some like Aardwolf puts brackets around the things that you can use. Remember?
Well, like, there's always a help menu that shows you all the possible.
Yeah,
words.
that's what it is with the tab menu.
Which would be with something like this. The list of viable words is very, very small.
Mm-hmm.
So that's totally viable.
Snoop Dougie Doug Johns.
Alex Tutti. I mean, the feels are bad.
Yeah,
feels bad.
It does a successful part of being a good horror in that it approaches a taboo
drinking
fairly seriously. I mean, it does have some like sarcastic wit at times where you might be able to be a little more serious.
The production value is very good.
Yeah, I was gonna say
the visuals
were very clean, and it does a really good job of transitioning between thing and thing really well. It's just that it mostly comes down to the commands in the text-based stuff being.
The third chapter actually looked a little fun.
Yeah,
the whole puzzle.
I do think that there are a lot of potential Easter eggs in especially that section because it looks like there was a lot of others.
I say chapter 3 is looks to be like the best chapter.
Yeah, it's probably the strongest point. And now look, it says Centrivid James 8.
Like, whenever we met, like, there was a hang-up in chapter 3, it's because we screwed something up.
Yeah. There's also an unlock all levels button.
Ooh. I mean, I think it's good to do them in order, though.
Yeah.
But you have to do the last one last. You just have to.
Yeah.
I do like how it revisits everything and wraps everything together in a neat, horrible bow.
It does a really This is why I think I like Surreal so much, is because things like this, where it bends things over on top of each other. That's why part of my favorite part of To the Moon is near the end, because it also does a thing where it approaches it really.
So chapter 1 isn't what happened last. We can't say necessarily that he went and killed himself, because it seems to end with him. Yeah, no. He's just trapped in the hospital.
Yeah, no. Chapter 1, I think, is kind of setting the foundation of you being guilty.
Right, it's just you
for what's going on.
Coming in to confront yourself.
Mm-hmm. I do, though, yeah. I think that the visuals were top-notch, especially for what is probably an independent.
It does sound like there probably wasn't much he could have done for Jen, but he just feels he should have.
Yeah, well, the fact that he didn't even try to free her at all, for example, if she was unconscious, hanging upside down, she could have probably had something. That's why even the officer says that if he had done anything else, he could have saved all 3 of them, and he's the only one who survived in the end.
Right. I mean, you could blame that decision on the fact that he was drunk, and
absolutely,
and the fact that he was clearly suffering brain damage.
Yeah,
they had trepidation. He was obviously had something wrong in his head.
Yeah. It's one of those where, yes, he's drunk is a very good explanation for but you also don't let a drunk person off the hook for doing things that they did.
So, though, in a sense, you could also say Jen was to blame to an extent for allowing that.
Yeah, in a sense, it did seem like Jen was pressuring. Yeah, Jen was pressuring him to do it,
or at least he felt she was.
That doesn't necessarily mean that she should be at fault for her own death.
They're both at fault. James, obviously, at the forefront.
Yeah.
I feel bad for him, though I do say he is guilty.
Yeah, I do think it's one of those cases where
he obviously
it was a legitimate, absolutely horrible mistake, but as it shows,
he acknowledges it was a mistake.
Yeah, he feels the guilt for what it is.
He's consumed by the guilt,
and hopefully a real person would find a way to change and become a better person. Even though they wouldn't be able to escape the guilt, they would at least be able to become a good person after what happened.
Though it seems that he's going to be in the hospital for a very long time.
I mean, it's one of those where now he's gone from physical brain trauma to now just the emotional impact of what happened and realizing
he might go to jail for quite some time.
Yeah.
if the police can even accept his testimony because he's clearly mentally disturbed.
Yeah, in which case he would probably, again, stay in the psych ward instead of going to jail.
And, like, just the icing on this horrible cake, again, is that it was supposed to be such a great time for him.
Yeah, it was supposed to be a great night.
And that just, adds a horrible sourness to everything. Mm-hmm. This was a terrible and it was a very unpleasant and well-written story.
Yeah, it's one of those, because the other things is, if you look, a lot of the words come back to each other. Alexander being the password, Alexander is the name of his doctor. It kind of has I won't go into details for why, but it has a usual suspects kind of sense to it with some of that kind of stuff. The overall story, though, I think was pretty well written. And I also think that I could see this being a film just as well as a game.
I think it might have been better like that. As just a short cinematic.
Maybe, but at the same time, some of the gameplay is the immersion.
Oh, I guess the forcing you to type in, it was all my fault over and over.
Or I just mean even in general. Like, the gameplay, even though sometimes it's clunky, I feel like the gameplay does a good job of tying in with how you're supposed to feel.
I obviously can't recommend it to anyone who just watched it, because...
I think I could. I do think that, especially because of the fact that, like I said, I think especially in Chapter 3, there's probably Easter eggs we didn't find.
Well, yeah, in Chapter 3 with the hidden, all those different signals.
Yeah. And I do think it's another case of, if you like the work, if you respect what happened, I feel like it's justified to spend money on it, even if you have already seen what there is to see.
And the plot kept us guessing, because up until the very end, we thought it was about some actually aliens, and where it was really just...
Yeah, when that was supposed to be all referencing that while you were in a coma, you just kept hearing the scary door. Oh,
yes.
What's it called? Twilight
scary
Zone.
Door.
Like Twilight Zone collection.
And it got mingled in with your memories.
Yeah.
And then Chapter 4 is you just straightening it all out and realizing that you've done a horrible thing.
Yeah. And so, unlike what Shin kind of said, I recommend buying it even if you've seen everything there is to see, which I don't think there is everything there is to see. I think there's probably Easter eggs.
I really think they need to straighten up the text game.
Yeah, the text game definitely could use some work if they ever came back to more of it. Let's see here.
I think this was a bit...
There's still 2 achievements, so yeah, there's still more to do than we did.
Oh, but they're secrets.
All of them are.
Oh.
Yeah, see, respond to
I guess because the title could be a spoiler or something.
Yeah.
I think it's funny how most of these achievements are mandatory, like find the code. Well, I guess you could just type in the code without having found it.
Yeah, well, the other thing is, it looks like there might be ways to, circumvent the expectations. Because, like, the photographs, for example, you do not have to find. Which is a good reference to what's happening, because it's down empty pathways, which is you driving in the dark.
I still like how if you're in your... Oh my god, I guess if you're in your room and when you're seeing those, like, decrepit photos and you remove them from the frame and they just crumble and do that, Yoga Infinitely actually... Does get a sort of more dreamlike feel now.
Yeah, and it does kind of tie back into what it is, where it's
coding.
But it even also ties into the idea that it, even if you try to destroy the memories, they're just going to keep coming back.
Or if he's trying to reach for her, she's gone.
Yeah. The fact that you can't get into her room and you can't stand seeing it like this. And
there's nothing you can do. It's over.
Yeah. You can't go to Jen, as it were.
Still, I mean, not good feels.
Yeah, there's also, I think, a lot more reading in Episode 3, because there are a whole bunch of things on the microfilm that I did not read over. And the instructions do have information.
The microfilm felt super authentic, though. I don't even know what a microfilm is, really.
A microfilm is exactly what it says. It's little pieces of film that are wrapped down that usually have paper documents saved on
I'm super unfamiliar with that kind of machine, but looking at that, I can feel... Yeah, that's totally a realistic design.
Yeah, no, it's probably an exact design from a 1980s microfilm thing.
That totally seems like what an old, antiquated, like, communication station would look like, probably.
Mm-hmm. And, again, that's probably part of why they don't have a manual for everything, is because, the film reels could be, like, this big and have a whole sheet on it, whereas the books, if you're shipping all these books everywhere, they're big bulky things. But yeah, the other thing is that I feel like there's a lot of possibly what the stories were being told on the Stories Untold tape that are kind of hinted at through there, because you do have a whatever the they are that's coming, which I guess is supposed to be implying that the police are on their way and you're going to get arrested. But there's the thing about the pandemic on the radio and things like that I'm sure that there's more...
But doesn't quite connect.
Irrelevant lore, but that kind of adds to the immersion of the context of each of those subsections.
To keep you fooled.
Yeah, and I do think that the
missiles...
the surrealism... Well, I even think that could tie back in the idea that you're destroying everything you love to try and save yourself.
Because, you destroy everything but that little area where you are, basically.
Yeah, everywhere except that area in Greenland where supposedly all of them are...
You've destroyed everything but yourself. Well, now what do you have?
Yeah. And so, I think that it did a really, really good job when it worked, but I do think that sections 1 and 2, their text sections, could use some sort of,
choices or something.
Yeah, some way.
Maybe it can be multiple choice.
Yeah, some way of cleaning up the way of doing it, because
they're linear enough.
Text adventures in and of themselves are not bad. We kind of showed earlier that they can be hilarious.
Well, that's I almost wouldn't call it a text adventure.
But
it's definitely not robust at all.
Yeah, text adventures though have their place in history as being very, very valuable. But in modern times, using that format has a lot of restrictions a developer would have to think about, otherwise it just becomes incomprehensible.
This really doesn't feel like a Devolver Digital game.
It doesn't feel like what you... Well, that's because I guess you've seen more of the silly Devolver.
I forget what they even made, but...
Oh god, they've produced a lot of games at this point.
Oh, that was Stories Untold. Wow.
Yeah, Devolver.
An excellent game to play before driving home.
Well, you don't drink.
Enter the Gungeon. That's what I know them for.
You also.
But it was made by Dodge Roll. Got it.
Yeah, there's also the series.
Broforce.
Game. Yeah, no, they've made a lot.
Hotline Miami.
Yeah, Hotline Miami 1 and 2, the Talos Principle.
Shadow Warrior, really?
Yeah,
I don't know what that is, but Hatoful Boyfriend.
Yeah, they're a
Downwell.
Yeah,
they make Heave Ho, which the Grumps are playing.
Let's see here what all of
they've made a hell of a lot of games, but they tend towards kind of over the top things.
Here you go. Serious Sam was their productions all the way up until 2012.
Hotline Miami was a big one. Dungeon Hearts, I played that.
Viscera
Cleanup Detail, Ollie. Gods Will Be Watching.
The Rousers.
Titan Souls. I never
Always
played it.
Sometimes Monsters and its sequels, Sometimes Always Monsters.
They made a hell of a lot of games. And look at the flags. Look at the nations of point-and-click Heavy Bullets.
Yeah. Sigils of Elohim.
Drop C. I think you'd like that.
I have it.
I think. I mean, it's a point-and-click, but I think you would like it. It's a very heartful game.
A Fistful of Gun. I have that.
Mother Russia Bleeds.
Knocked. I backed Knocked.
You did.
Yeah.
Stories Untold, right there by No Code.
Yeah, Mother Russia Bleeds.
Stories Untold is a British game.
Well, that, for example, look, Mother Russia Bleeds. I mean, it has a couple silly things, but it's a very dark game.
It's very over the top.
Mm-hmm.
Serious Sam's Bogus Detour.
Blockhood, I own that.
Genital Jousting.
Yeah. No, they're a producer, so they
produced a lot.
Yeah, they give a lot of independent developers.
Metal Wolf Chaos, really? That's working with From Software.
Pikuniku.
Devolver Digital's a huge name.
Yeah, no, and they have the best E3 parts of any company. You have to watch their E3s.
Oh, oh my god! Enter the Gungeon on arcade.
Yeah, arcade cabinets.
That's...
Yeah, no, they've done a whole lot, and then they re-released the Serious Sam.
These guys mean business.
Yeah, no, that's why they're so highly praised.
Are they even?
They own a lot of very successful.
I thought they were indie.
They're a producer. They are, by definition, not indie because they are the production company.
Right. Because so Gungeon was
they
published by them,
back,
but produced
yeah, they
by
back an
Dodge
independent game company to give them the funding
in exchange for, I guess, the profit, part of the profits.
Yes, and
okay,
they
so
have a lot of respect because they also have the Devolver Stream license.
Fungus.
Yeah, can I
But
post
that was
monetized Devolver games? Yes, this is their whole thing. They have approved, like a written license on their website.
That's
saying
just
you
one
can
word?
Use, yeah, use any of their stuff on.
So basically, that means they're cool.
Yeah, they've gotten modern where other companies refused to, and they're succeeding because of it.
They're going against the whole Persona 5 nonsense.
Yeah, they and Tiny Build is the other big one. Like
the makers of No Time to Explain.
Yeah, No Time to Explain. And Team 17.
Really?
Yeah,
Team 17, I guess, is the oldest of the Trinity.
You got Lovely Planet, Punch Club. We did that. Speedrunners.
What is the game that... Oh, Streets of Rogue.
Cluster
They were
Truck.
Streets of Rogue. Cluster Truck, God, I hate that game, kind of. Guts and Glory. Hello, Neighbor.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Hello, Neighbor.
Rapture Rejects, Pathologic.
Punch Club 2.
Yeah, I've known about it. And then, yeah, they developed No Time.
How old is Team 17?
Team 17.
Sega's also pretty good at this, because...
Paradox Interactive.
Because they're like, hey... You're making fan games? Come work for us. And then Nintendo's like, hey, you're making fan games? Here's a cease and desist.
They're just a bit younger than we are.
Yeah, because they made the original Worms, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Alien
Breed Project X.
Yeah, Worms in 95.
Yeah. Let's see here.
For the Sega Saturn, really?
X2... Pinball game.
Worms Armageddon was 99? Feels like it was so much older than that.
You were 10 at the time.
Spoiler alert. I had a birthday once.
Oh, they also do Leisure Suit Larry.
Oh.
So
yeah, they have a much smaller...
This is their publication stuff.
They have a smaller portfolio than...
Of production.
Yeah.
And then they have the Escapist.
But I guess unlike Devolver, they
produced Ollie Ollie. They did Shelter,
Ukulele.
Yeah, they were one of the
Team
teams.
17?
Yeah,
and of course there's a new Ukulele too, and Blasphemous.
Yeah. And then there is Paradox Interactive, which made Cities Skylines, and they have.
And they hate mods.
Do they?
Well, I mean, you can't get achievements with mods on. You said.
Oh well, that's.
Well, if they hated mods, you couldn't have mods.
Yeah, they hate. The reason I don't like it is because of the fact that
you can cheat easily.
Yeah, you can make the mods make all of the game easy, basically.
And they want you to earn your achievements, which I guess makes sense. List of
games, yeah.
Crusader Kings I've heard about.
Sort by year. So...
Magnum Mundi, I've heard... Oh, no.
Crusader Kings, Diplomacy...
I guess their early claim to him was Europa Universalis.
Yeah, they have a lot of strategy games.
They're like Civilization, but not.
Yeah. Lost Empire,
Mountain Blade.
Yeah. City Life.
So yeah, that's why I don't think much of them much. Cause
Penumbra.
They make games I don't really think about much.
Yeah.
Restaurant Empire 2.
Achtung Panzer.
That's an Achtung. Why is that a funny word? Well, because it's Germany. Woody Two Legs. Attack of the Zombie Pirates.
Magic. Pirates, Black
Lionheart, King's Crusade. Interesting. I'll have to look into that. Knights of Pen and Paper.
A Game of Dwarves.
I thought
Knights of Pen and Paper, I own that.
I think most people do, except for me.
War of the Roses.
Dungeon Land.
Probably Security.
Cities.
Civilization. Yeah. City Skylines. I love this game so much. It's so good.
Vampire, the Masquerade.
Pillars of Eternity.
Oh, that's a huge game.
Yep. Battletech.
I need to head out. I'm getting groggy.
Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2 is owned by them too. Well, it's
so those are like the cool developers club.
To some extent, Chucklefish would have been until they did their big mistake
of not paying their employees.
Yeah, that's a pretty big issue.
Isn't that a crime?
Well, it had to do with how they made the contracts
God
with the game.
Damn it! How can you not pay
in early production? Yeah.
So now no one's allowed to enjoy Chucklefish games anymore.
Well, they've ruined their own image pretty horribly.
Risk of Rain. All right, that's actually a pretty small portfolio. Then,
Yeah.
Oh, it's Stardew. Oh god.
Yeah, they had Stardew Valley, which he did get paid correctly. It's Starbound that was the big controversy of it all.
Wargroove, I think.
And it all has to do with this guy Finn Bryce, from what I understand. He has made a pretty big mistake and pretty much tarnished his image, which might terribly affect his company as a result.
They don't seem to have the biggest portfolio. They just have a few really. They have Stardew and they have Stardew. That's their big thing.
Well, no, they have Risk of Rain and Starbound.
Right, but Stardew is easily their biggest.
Oh, it's huge. But yeah.
And now you can't enjoy it.
Not like I used to. But yeah, so that's why I kind of like and respect a lot of the indie game kind of stuff, is because certain names will pop up over and over again, and then suddenly I'm like, okay, I guess I just like them.
So Team 17 is part of the Cool Developers Club?
As far as I can tell.
Which is pretty cool given their age. They also have kind of a pedigree.
And then let's see here.
I need to get going, or I'm going to...
Yes, it is a review. Oh, and the void reigns upon her heart.
Or the void heart reigns upon her.
Yeah. But yeah, so that must be the bullet hell that Logo was talking about.
Alright, we'll look into that next time.
Oh, I didn't see what the note said. I didn't... Because I clicked the thing.
I can't believe you've done this. Seasons after fall.
You'll have to tell me what you put in your writing there, Logo, if you ever see this. Oh, just hope you enjoy, have fun, Logo. I cheated it, and I made it unopened so that I could read what it said. Your phone, if your phone's not in your pocket. Alright, well, that is it for tonight. Good writing, depressing game. Thank you guys for watching. Have a good day, night, afternoon, morning, whatever it is where you are. Hope to see you again real soon, and take care.